Welcome back everyone. Time to do another comparison between the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Google Pixel 5. Now the Pixel 5 is pretty much the latest and greatest from Google, which I'm pretty surprised about. They didn't have a Pixel 5 XL or anything. And the iPhone 12 Pro Max is the latest and greatest from Apple. It is the newest phone. This phone costs $1,099. The Pixel 5 costs a little bit over $600 in some places, but I'm pretty sure there's some deals coming up sooner that can probably make it cheaper. But I'll find the cheapest ones of both these, link them down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely see that the iPhone 12 Pro Max is a far bigger phone than the Google Pixel 5. The Pixel 5 on the front has that 6-inch OLED panel, and it's a really good panel actually. As you can see, it has a whole punch display, which looks really good, has very slim bezels around the whole entire phone, and it actually does look like a very good panel. I try to think of different ways to put it, but honestly, it's just a really good panel at the end of the day, and I just don't think people really care too much about the individual details. The best thing about the Pixel 5 though is that it does have that 90Hz refresh rate on that panel. Now you won't be able to see it over the screen. I've done 30 reviews of this thing and comparisons already, but day to day, you will probably see a little bit of a difference. I will say the build quality is a little bit weird, and I'll get into in a second. It's not bad. It's kind of like an acquired taste, but the panel itself is actually really good. Now on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, this one has a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, so this screen is definitely bigger than the Pixel 5, so take that as you will. I'm not trying to say this panel is, a worse panel actually, because it's actually a good panel and maybe even a better panel than the Pixel 5. It's just the Pixel 5 has that higher refresh rate, which is something I really do like. So at the end of the day, this thing can do something that the 12 Pro Max can't necessarily do, but who knows, maybe the iPhone 13 will eventually bring it. But definitely when it comes down to the front, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is the bigger panel, and I think the way the panel looks, the iPhone 12 Pro Max has a better looking panel, but the 90Hz refresh rate on the Pixel 5 makes it that much better in my opinion. Now in terms of the thickness between both of these, as you can see, the iPhone 12 Pro Max I think is just a tad bit thicker, at least it feels like it. Maybe they're about the same, I actually don't really know to be honest, but maybe the 12 Pro Max is it feels thicker for sure, because the Pixel 5 kind of curves at the edge. And on the back, you can see dual camera setup on the Pixel 5. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a triple camera setup with a LiDAR sensor. The aluminum build on the Pixel 5, which doesn't feel like aluminum if I'm being honest, but you have that fingerprint sensor right here. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has the frosted glass back, which feels really nice too. So both these definitely have their pros and cons in terms of the build quality. They both have IP certification, both have wireless charging. The standard stuff, the Pixel 5 does have reverse charging, which is cool. But definitely when it comes down to the outside, I don't think one is necessarily the best one or the biggest winner. But I will say the 12 Pro Max definitely feels like the more premium phone. This one hands down feels like $1,000 phone, while the Pixel 5 doesn't even feel like a $700 phone. Honestly, like it feels less premium than something like a, I don't even know, like it just doesn't feel that premium if I'm being honest, which is very weird. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I see it. Now in terms of the software, the Pixel 5 and the iPhone 12 Pro Max are going to be lasting a very long time, the longest for their specific genres. So with the Pixel 5, it's going to be lasting a very long time for an Android. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to be the longest lasting iPhone. Now I will tell you right now, the Pixel 5, even though it's going to be lasting for many years, it still is not going to come close to the iPhone 12 Pro Max's life cycle. This phone is going to outlast the Pixel 5 on native support, but the Pixel 5 does have software support, custom ROM and stuff like that. So this one may outlast the 12 Pro Max through the custom ROMs, through third-party development, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max in native development will definitely beat the Pixel 5 when it comes down to it. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up. Now let's go ahead and do a speed comparison between both phones. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 GB of RAM. With the Pixel 5 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset with 8 GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, now that we're back, all the apps are cleared out in the background, as you guys can probably see. So let's start loading them up. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And both were pretty close. I don't think one was pretty much the winner there. App stores, 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5, I think, was the faster one. For some reason, the Pixel 5 does really good when it comes down to the app stores. Scrolling through, you can see, I don't really think if there's necessarily one that's the winner, but definitely the Pixel 5 was able to load that up faster. As always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps we can go ahead and get into. Let's do Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And that's one thing that I've pretty much been saying with the Pixel 5. The app opening speeds are a little bit different. The animations are weirder, and maybe sometimes it will be faster. But as you can see, the 12 Pro Max was definitely far faster than the Pixel 5 to get into those panels. But I'll definitely tell you when it comes down to it, the Pixel 5's animations aren't as smooth as the iPhones for sure. Let's do Facebook, which I don't even have. Let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And the 12 Pro Max was faster, Pixel 5 a little bit slower. Let's go and do Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. And I don't really know. I think maybe the 12 Pro Max was slightly faster, but it was still very close. We can go and do PayPal 2, 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5 actually was faster. The iPhone 12 Pro Max a little bit behind. Let's go and get into the game itself and see if there's a difference. And I want to say there probably won't be a difference, but I could be totally wrong, and there really wasn't. They were both almost exactly the same. Let's go and do Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the Pixel 5, I think, was just slightly ahead of the iPhone 12 Pro Max. That was actually very, very close. I was expecting the 12 Pro Max to do better, but definitely the Pixel 5 was the faster one there. Let's go and get into the next one, which is Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the 12 Pro Max does seem to be faster overall than the iPhone, than the Google Pixel 5. And you can see that eventually we'll get into the 12 Pro Max. And the Pixel 5 was a little bit behind. Not a crazy difference, but also keep in mind there's quite a bit of a price gap between these two phones as well. And I'll definitely tell you the Pixel 5 is maybe a better deal when it comes down to it, especially with this close of a performance. Let's go and hop out of here. Let's do BOFA. 3, 2, 1. And the 12 Pro Max faster. Pixel 5 a little bit behind. Definitely took a little bit of time to get into that one. Let's do Dropbox. 3. I don't even have it. Let's do Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 12 Pro Max faster. Pixel 5 behind it. Netflix. 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5 was faster. 12 Pro Max a little bit behind. Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5 again was slightly ahead of the 12 Pro Max. Getting into some gameplay, I think they're going to be roughly about the same, to be completely honest. As you can see, not a ginormous difference. Let's go and do stack. 3, 2, 1. And we did have a little bit of a pop-up here. Not too sure what to make of it. Let's do thank you. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the Pixel 5 actually was faster there too. So to kind of sum up the specific video, bro, I'm actually pretty impressed with the Pixel 5 for its cheaper price tag and for that lower end Snapdragon processor. It actually did a really, really good job. And I don't even think it's that much slower than the 12 Pro Max. And I actually think it may even be a faster phone than the 12 Pro Max, which is very, very surprising. I was not expecting that. So if you're looking at both these, you may actually see yourself not even, I would not go from a Pixel 5 to a 12 Pro Max or vice versa just based off the performance. I feel like it's extremely close between both, and I think the Pixel 5 may actually end up being the faster one more times than not than the 12 Pro Max, which is very, very surprising to me. So RAM management seems to be about the same as well. Let's go and hit on the cameras. Now, like I stated, dual camera setup on the Pixel 5. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a triple camera setup with a telephoto lens and LiDAR sensor, where the Pixel 5 has an ultra-wide sensor. Now, I've actually already made a camera comparison between these two, so I'm not too sure when that's dropping, but I pretty much found that the Pixel 5 does a really good job on the photos. You can do 4K at 60 on the back. Like I said before, though, the front camera is probably its biggest disadvantage, where you only can do pretty much, 1080p on the front camera of the Pixel 5, which is very weird, I feel like sometime Google is going to have to go ahead and perfect that big camera, and hopefully they do it sooner than later. But that ultra-wide sensor is also an extremely nice touch, and I really, really do like that. There's no telephoto lens on here, but like I said, you still have 4K at 60 on the back, and it's still a really good camera. The software enhancements are really, really nice as well. It just so happens that it doesn't have any 4K capability on the front, which does kind of suck, to be honest. On the 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, you are getting an overall better camera setup for sure. This is a way more than capable phone. It's a super heavy phone too, and the camera lens is massive, but with that additional telephoto lens, like I said before, it does add a lot more flavor to that phone. You can zoom in a lot more into a photo, which is awesome. And I feel like the ultra-wide sensor may actually be overall better on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Maybe it's about the same, but I'll definitely tell you, having that 4K 60 on the front camera is a really nice feature, and I really like having that. So definitely when it comes down to it, I'll tell you, the Pixel 5, beautiful camera, I like it, but the 12 Pro Max definitely has a better camera when it comes down to it. So in terms of the camera setups, that pretty much covers it up. Now ending it off with the battery life, the Pixel 5 actually has a bigger battery than the 12 Pro Max, and I actually kind of found, I already did a battery test between these two. I don't know when that's dropping either, but I pretty much found that the Pixel 5 actually has the better battery life between these as well. The Pixel 5's battery life actually surprised me because it outlasted the 12 Pro, the 12, and now the 12 Pro Max. So the battery life is better on the Pixel 5 from what I found. But to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you go and pick up the 12 Pro Max? Should you pick up the Pixel 5? What I can tell you is that for sure, both these phones have their strong suits. If these were the same priced phones, I would probably end up getting the 12 Pro Max. But because the 12 Pro Max costs hundreds of dollars more than the Pixel 5, it makes this phone that much of a better value in my opinion. This thing, for sure still has a very good display. I mean, this is definitely one of the best displays out there for 100% of a fact. If I go ahead and swipe through all the way, I mean, this phone is a very smooth performing phone still. I was expecting it to be, much slower than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Guess what? That ended up not being the case. The 12 Pro Max ended up coming through, and it actually ended up being slower for the most part than the Pixel 5. RAM management seemed to be about the same too. Now, it's not to say that every single time the iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to be slower. I did find an overall smoother experience on my iPhones than on Pixels, so keep that in mind. But for an Android device, the Pixel 5 is a really, really good deal, I think, and it's really surprising to me for that $695 or $600 whatever price tag that it was that good of a phone. But I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max is more of a complete phone when it comes down to it. It's definitely a better feeling device. Like, you can pick up this phone 3 years from now, 6 years from now, and still feel like you have a beautiful device, just like how the iPhone 4S or iPhone, 8 even. But with the Pixel 5, it already feels outdated. It doesn't feel like the best, most premium device, unfortunately. And it's not a cheap phone, it's definitely cheaper, but it's not like an iPhone SE2 or anything. This $700 phone, which is still pretty expensive. And it doesn't feel like a $700 phone in terms of the build quality. The 12 Pro Max feels more than what it actually is. Unfortunately, it's still extremely expensive, which is totally okay. But you're getting really good performance from this phone, better cameras on the 12 Pro Max, really good battery life, still better on the Pixel 5 from what I've found. No 90 hertz refresh rate, no nothing, but it's still a better display, I think, overall. But I'll definitely say, man, I think the Pixel 5 is a really good value, and because of its value and because of the way it's probably going to depreciate, this is probably going to be a better deal for a lot more people. But the 12 Pro Max is a very strong phone as well, and I'm actually really, really surprised by how well this phone was actually able to handle up, for sure. But I think the Pixel 5 is actually more surprising than the 12 Pro Max in this comparison. So that pretty much sums it up. Like I said, if you want to pick these up, links will be down in the description below. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys get hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.